Is that the only service that you provide? Because I heard something about self-sufficiency.
That's a different program, but right now they're not accepting applications for that program.
If for 10 years, no one has been able. I haven't been able to get services anywhere. Is there any all services that you have there? May I have your name?
My name is Miriam.
Okay, so all
Do you have
services that you have there are shut down. All of them. You have no services there that to offer anyone. Period.
no, we have a rental assistance program. Have you filled out an application?
So that's the only services. And what's the name of your? This is Community Action.
Right.
And the only thing that you offer is for assistance with rent payment.
With this department, yes, there is a
I
utility
don't.
fee.
I think there's a disconnect. The whole organization as a whole. Someone referred me. I've experienced this for 10 years, so I'm not
The
quite certain
rental,
on why it would compartmentalize to just this particular location as a general location in this organization in a whole. How do you help? How can I figure that out? Because all locations treat me like this.
ma'am, have you filled out an application?
Okay, so you. I mean, I'm treated like this in person, so you're unwilling to tell me how this organization helps people. How would
Like I
one get an
said, if
assistance?
you were
Because
to
I've
be
been.
behind on rent,
So that's the service that you're demanding that I take.
this is one of the programs that we have,
But
ma'am.
I told you I'm not interested in that. I would like, I don't have rights. I'd like to. She hung up. Are you there? She hung up.
Felicia, how can I help you?
Yes, I have a couple of issues. So I came in person, and I was told that you had dental assistance there, and the representative was
Mhm.
dishonest with me and told me that they no longer had the person with the dental. So I came in another time for an appointment, and there was a sign on the door saying that they weren't taking dental for that day. So then they were forced to schedule me for a dental appointment, and then it said they told me that I had to be there at 7 a.m. But then it said that you can make an appointment for the dental. I'm just not quite certain. I experience this quite routinely. People repeatedly lie to me about services. So in addition to
Um,
that, I had the appointment. I had the appointment there. They told me that I didn't owe anything, and now I have a bill for $25. But this has happened at multiple different locations for way more funds than $25. So I'm not quite certain on how I was told that I didn't owe anything. I'm homeless, fleeing a domestic abuse crisis, and then all of a
what
sudden
is your
there's a
date of
bill.
birth?
Is
That bill's not from dental though.
I don't think I'm really. I had another appointment. I
Yeah, I
don't
think
think
that's
I'd have
what it's
just. That's the
from.
only thing that you wanted to capitalize off. That bill isn't for dental. No, I wasn't able to get the dental services. I'm not quite sure why you're not alarmed that someone lied to me about dental services. And I told you I'm fleeing a domestic violence crisis and how a bill
I didn't. I
populated
wasn't done
that
yet
wasn't there.
though. I was trying to let you know that the bill wasn't from the dental. I didn't know. I didn't know that you had been seen for something else here.
Yes, I was
Um,
communicating that. And they told me
but
I didn't have a bill, and then a bill populated. This isn't the only location this has happened at.
yes, ma'am. So the bill that came up, sometimes whenever we sign you up for the like programs and stuff, sometimes it'll still bill you, but you won't have to pay it. It's just like I guess it doesn't catch up. You know what I mean? Like whenever whenever we put it in our system, sometimes it takes them like a little bit longer to catch up with it. So it's like already in the system, but you won't have to. I don't think you'll have to pay that part. But let me look out for the dental.
Okay,
So
another
we
location said
didn't
the same
have.
thing that their system didn't catch up. Essentially, I've been in this new location, but this has happened years. Another location said their system didn't catch up and gave me generated a bill, and it wasn't supposed to be one. I just repeatedly
Um,
experience glitches like this. Okay, well, good. So the system should catch up, and I shouldn't owe that bill. Is that correct?
yeah, that. Yeah, let me look at your what they've signed you up for, and then I can definitely tell you for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because it looks like you're on our program, so sometimes they like the day you come, it like because we have to send them off, so it doesn't know that we send off paperwork that day. It just knows like, oh, you came, so it bills you, and then eventually,
Oh, okay. Well, good
and then
with
for the
that.
dental.
Yes,
Yeah, for
for
the dental, we didn't have a dentist for a while. So they were only able to see
it
like,
had something on the building saying that they for dental. I just people lie to me all the time about services. I haven't been able to get them, and doing that a conspiracy is
yeah,
a felony. I'm not. If there's a misunderstanding, I'm communicating with you. Someone lied to me about dental, blatantly lied. There was a sign. They did not wasn't aware. There was a sign on the door saying that they weren't taking dental appointments for that day. Since I asked them about the dental, they were forced to schedule me an appointment. They didn't schedule it. They told me I had to be at 7 a.m. That was not the policy because I've heard other parties say that you set an appointment. They told me to be there at 7 a.m., which was impossible because the place I stayed started denying me transportation after talking to the police. So then I did not
uh,
have a way to get there at 7 a.m. on this waiting list that other parties wasn't aware of because other people make an appointment for the dentist and I wasn't offered that.
yeah. So, were you in pain whenever you were telling them that you needed to be seen?
Yes, I've had some. Yes, I
So,
did, but I'm just
okay,
not quite certain on why they would be dishonest with me about the dental and then require me to
well,
do things location to location that other people don't have to do.
yes, ma'am. So for the dental, I don't think that they were like, so what our situation was at the time,
Ma'am, I've already heard that. I would like to
actually,
move forward. There's been excuses for 10 years. How do I see the dentist, ma'am? Because
it's
no
not,
one
I'm just trying
accepts
to
that
explain
people
to
are
you
lying.
that way
It's
you,
not necessary. Everyone has had excuse to why I'm being denied services. So if we could just move forward and can I set an appointment?
okay, well, so I'm trying to explain to you so that I can help you get to there.
Okay.
So, um, the reason that they had told you the 7 a.m. part, that's because you were in pain, and at the time we weren't able to schedule appointments because we didn't have a full-time dentist. So whenever the dentist had told us whenever people are in pain like that, to tell them to try to come in as walk-ins, and if they're able to fit them in, that way they can work them in, and if they're not, it wasn't a guarantee. It was just like if they were in pain, they wanted them to come in to, if they were able to see them, it would be faster than having to wait. Now that we have our dentist back, we have a new one, and we have one of our ones that had went on a leave, and they're both back. So it's been a little easier to schedule more people.
That's
They're
not what
still a
she
little
said,
full right
ma'am. That's
now.
not what she said, ma'am, but I'm repeatedly not heard. She said there's no dentist. They don't have dental. Then
We
she
didn't
was
for a
caught.
while.
Then she was caught in the same week. Then she was caught, and it was a sign on the door saying that they weren't doing the dental today, that to do other appointments. I questioned what was going on. Then they all of a sudden the dentist reappeared. But I'm not being repeatedly being heard. Okay, ma'am, can we move forward? And I set an appointment to see the dentist.
So are you still in pain, or did you
I
need
just wanted to
something
set a
else for
normal
dental?
appointment. I don't know the services because people are being dishonest with me about them.
Well, I'm not being dishonest with you.
I
I'm just trying
know.
to see
Can you
what is going on with
elaborate on the
you. So
service? I'd like to set an appointment to see the dentist.
yes, but I need to know what you're coming for. Like, is it because you're in pain, or is it because
What
like
kind
you
of
just want
appointments
to
do you
like?
have for the dentist?
Well, if you're in pain, they're gonna focus on that area. But if you're wanting to like just get an all-around exam, we can do that as well.
Okay, and then is that the only thing that you offer, just an exam, and that's it? I don't know what you offer because they
Well,
were dishonest about the services.
they're gonna like, so when you first come in to the first appointment, they're gonna just do an examine and go from there, and then the next is usually like a cleaning, and if you're having like discomfort or any type of like pain, then they can offer you to focus on that area. Like, I guess basically once they see
Okay,
more of
so
your
the
problem
cleaning,
areas,
ma'am,
then they can move.
the cleaning. I'm very interested in the cleaning. They
Okay,
wouldn't
so
tell me
they're
the
gonna
truth about it.
still do, yeah, they're still gonna want to do the exam first just to
Okay.
see what's in there, and then because sometimes like the cleanings, there's like, I guess there's like different levels and different sometimes they need to focus on more areas. So there's like a few different types of cleanings, I believe. I'm not too sure like the all detail of it, but the first step would be getting you in for an exam, and then they can tell you the next step from there.
Okay. Can I set up an exam time?
Yeah, let me see if they have
Are you
any
sure
available
if
for
will anybody be able to interrupt these services if I schedule an exam
anyone.
because people spin my wheels and then when it's time for me to get services they scam so I can't get them? So, or would you allow anyone to interrupt these services if I go through all the paperwork and all of the effort?
What do you mean interrupt services?
There's someone illegally monitoring me and then they interrupt services that I get. I've also tried to get cleaning at another location, the Parkland van, and that was interrupted. they did partial cleaning and then stopped the cleaning in the scheme. So I just don't want, to waste all this time. And if you guys allow someone to interrupt the services that I get, I just wanted to get clarity. If I go through all this trouble and, schedule this and make, come, that you won't scheme to deprive me of assistance, because it's been a pattern for me.
No, I don't think they will.
I'm
sorry,
not
I'm not
quite
trying to
certain
be
on why you would
difficult.
just
I just
have to
don't.
think. I'm not sure that you wouldn't have a certainty. Why would they,
I
I'm not, but I mean, that's a red flag if you're not sure that they'll
I
scheme
don't.
to deprive me of
Well,
assistance.
it's
I
not that
thought
I'm
that
not
they would.
sure. I'm not understanding what you're asking. I'm sorry. I was trying to say that. I don't get what you mean by they would disrupt. Like someone come in and tell you they can't do
Well,
it,
they've
or like.
already tried to scheme to keep me from services. They weren't honest about the dental. And you were, didn't really have a clarity on that. I had that experience until they got caught with a sign on the door saying that they did have dental. They
When
told
we
me
put
that
the
they.
sign up, it's just to let people
Okay,
know
ma'am.
that they're not
Okay,
taking
can moving
walk-ins for that
forward,
day.
you claim that you won't scam to deprive me of assistance. Okay, which already has happened at that location. So how do I make an appointment?
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay, thank you.
Did
I
you
know you
know
got to
about
see
our
it to
wellness
believe it.
exams,
Wow.
preventive screenings, and convenient telemedicine options?
So
We
the
also
scams
offer
in
dental and
person, they just
behavioral
look at
health
my
services.
phone, monitor
Our team
everything
is here
going
to
on,
support you on your health
hear,
journey.
listen in the
Thanks
background,
for your
eavesdrop on
patience.
my friends'
We'll be
phones.
with
If I
you
cut my
shortly.
phone off, eavesdrop at church, everywhere I'm at. So they have this plan like a army, using tactics, government tactics to keep me from service.
I'm sorry about that hold. Can I get your name and date of birth?
That is correct. I'm getting all kind of calls. I don't get calls. I mean, there's several different interruptions from multiple different numbers. Okay, that's okay.
So, it looks like you're wanting to schedule an appointment, but you're actually in this month. For next month when we get when we start scheduling for June. So I can put you on a waiting list until then.
Okay, waiting lists don't typically work out for me because it never happens, but I can try it. I've been on waiting lists for decades and to get nowhere. That's just, I'm not saying that you guys are, I'm just not really being heard. I'm not saying that you guys are in cahoots, but I'm on waiting list all kinds of different places that's a gimmick or a scheme to exclude me from services others get. So we'll see how this works with the waiting list. I'm not quite certain on why they would lie to me about the dental in person.
You're on a waiting list here with us, so I can put you here.
I'm just telling you about my life, ma'am, and I'm not quite certain on why they would be dishonest about the dental and not want to tell me about it until I saw the sign on the door. But nonetheless, I know that you have excuses on why that happened. So now there's a waiting list. So how do I get put on the waiting list?
There's no list on the door.
I'm not certain on, how to get on the waiting list. That's what we were speaking of.
I can get your information, put you down, and then we'll give you a call when we get to your name.
Okay. How long is that list typically?
I don't know how many people are on the waiting list. I just know there's a list going on because right now the new patient slots have been pretty booked up.
Okay, so you have no idea. Would it be a year, 3 months, a month?
No, it won't. Probably at least month and a half.
Oh, okay. Okay, what information do you need?
You are screened for our programs here as well, so you're going to be at our lowest pricing.
Okay.
So that would range.
Okay, so I would pay for the dental $50 to $75 for the exam?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then the cleaning, is there a scale on how much that would be?
Depending on what kind of cleaning you'll get, we will have to let you know when that gets closer because it depends on the cleaning.
Okay, I get defrauded out of funds left and right. Is there a particular pricing scale that you can give me evidence that you guys have?
It'd be 50 to 75 for your.
I mean the actual pricing scale, because I'm homeless and fleeing abuse, and I was told that there was programs, and then I repeatedly get billed in corruption.
You're currently on our programs now, and you're on the lowest copay.
But I'm just asking if there's a pricing scale, because I get defrauded out of funds repeatedly over and over, and places charge me that actually give free services.
We have programs for medical that will help you with no cost, but for dental,
the question was, is there an example of the pricing scale? Because I repeatedly get defrauded out of funds to exclude me from services.
50 to 75.
I'm sorry?
50 to 75, depending on what kind of services you're getting done.
You're telling me the cleaning is 50 to 75.
Depending on what cleaning, and I don't know what cleaning you need.
Okay, and then you're saying the exam is 50 to 75. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm asking you if there's a pricing scale. How would I know that these charges are authentic and I'm not being defrauded out of funds because it's happened in the past? Places have charged me that give me free services.
I can't really, the first visit will be 50 because you've never been here before. Any services after that, we will have to let you know when you come in, when you check out, and we can let you know what you'll be having to pay, because I don't know, because you haven't been here yet.
Okay, so if I'm not on the program, how much would the cleaning be?
Out of pocket, it'd probably be at least $150, I believe.
Okay, $150 for the program if the cleaning if I'm not on the program.
But that's depending, yeah. But it has to see if you have to get X-rays. Like that's an additional price. I don't know because you've never been here before.
Okay, ma'am. I'm just wanted to get a idea. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So this is nonetheless. I just want you to see the extreme and how petty the denial of services are, and how I'm just repeatedly defrauded out of funds, and it just is incredible. I have a $7,000 bill for Parkland. The police took my freedom for trying to report I was gang stalked. Parkland police. I went to the police department to cover for it. They took my freedom, put me in Parkland, raised a $7,000 medical treatment bill, keeping me against my will in corruption, racked up felonies. Then JPS, I had services there for homeless people, racked up a $4,000 bill there. I went in person, they were covering for it and said that everybody was out and had some kind of meeting. Then I called on my phone and it was gangs. This is how I've been defrauded out of all this funds. And if the United States is going to be contributing to financial abuse and defrauding me out of funds with not clearing free of all charges, why would I want to be here? Defrauding me of tax returns openly, then blaming me for their crimes and everybody else that's in my environment and listening them to be in cahoots with it. Well, what is the purpose?